like hers are like so in your face, and I'm like, hi, and then I mess you up on the background. It's so funny. Anyhow, let's go ahead and get started, loves. Welcome, welcome to goodness, let's see here, third to last class. So you have 3 more, I believe. Holy macaroni, right? Yay, look at all you, so different, like about to graduate first year. It's amazing. I love how all of you are shifting and changing and your faces are so much brighter. It's awesome. Excellent. So just a few announcements. Last class will be May 18th for our final goodbyes. Okay. We do have a guest speaker on May 14th, who is my personal teacher, Rui Ryburn, who will be talking about God and enlightenment. So super excited. Let's get this party started. Let's go ahead and get grounded first before we do our shares, okay? Go ahead and, yeah, no, goodbye. Place your feet on the ground. Yeah, relax those shoulders. There's a lot. Maybe shake out first. Shake it out. And now I invite you to close your eyes and just settle into your body and allow yourself to sink in, feeling the weight of your body on your chair, allowing your eyes to relax and soften. Relax the jawline and your neck. Let go of those shoulders and let it course down into your chest, and let it automatically relax all of the organs in your belly, and let go of those feelings in your sacral area. We can put them aside for now, and then just drop into your body, into your legs, and then down into the ground. Sending a root cord down into the earth center, grabbing a hold of all the ruby crystals and emerald green, blue sapphire, filling your whole entire being up, activating your DNA, and just allowing you to just be in this space, just as you are, beautiful, handsome, and perfect. Thank you, God, Heavenly Father, Mother Earth, guides, guardian angels, for your loving support at this time, for each and every one of the students here, and for those that could not make it today. Bless them all, place a hedge of protection around them, and may they know that they have so much support all around them. May they find peace, may they find joy, and may they raise their consciousness so that they can transcend these personal identities and limitations and rise up into the new joy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Amen. Aho, may it be so. All righty. Let's see. I do have one announcement, which is we are doing the Power Up Challenge coming up on May 10th. For those of you that have prospects and that don't know us, this is a good way for them to get to know us. A lot of you are referring, so thank you, thank you, thank you. And let us know if we can talk to them personally. You can give them my phone number and I will connect with them, okay? Because with your support, we all have a big win, 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 win. So thank you for that. And I think we said it last time, where we're going to have an open house on May 17th. A few of you have committed already, which I'm so grateful for. So if you're feeling called to participate and also share your story with others, especially as they traverse this beautiful journey, we would love to hear your words. So just let me know. All righty, let's go ahead and start off with check-ins.
I'll go.
Thank you.
I'm just in a happy place. I bought a car last night, and had favor the whole time. And I got more than I even asked for. And it happened in ways I know not of. And I'm still kind of going, wow, is that mine? And then I had a magical session with Nikayla this morning. And I have my little baby granddaughter with me. She's sleeping now. So I'm really good, and I'm complete. I'm excited for Sedona.
I'm excited for Sedona too. I'm glad you're feeling good, and I'm glad everything is working out for you. That's one of my favorite statements, by the way, is everything's always working out for me.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for your share. All right, Charmaine, you're next.
Okay, so my birthday was Saturday, and my friend and I went to Vegas and had a wonderful time, and I literally shut the entire world off. And I mean that in a great way. Like, I was in the moment all the time, enjoying people, which was nothing I've ever done. Like I didn't get on my phone. I answered people back who wished me happy birthday, but I didn't worry about my house. I didn't worry about my dog. I didn't worry about my kids. I didn't worry about work. I didn't worry about anything. And that's unheard of. I haven't had a vacation since August of 2016. So I just allowed myself to be, and came home, and the world didn't burn up. So I got to see my daughter Friday night. Today is her 15th birthday, and I'm taking her to get her driver's permit. Sorry. Good motions. So little steps, very, 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 very baby steps. Not everyday conversations, but little steps. So anyway, just want to give you guys the updates.
Yay, happy birthday, love. I think I sang to you and Marco.
You did, and I didn't respond because, like I said, I totally just like checked out because I just don't do that. And
don't worry about it. Check out, please. I'm glad you had a good time as well. Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All righty, who's next? Go ahead, Michelle.
Okay, I'll go. So I'm just so like present. I'm just so present. And I'm not overwhelmed by it, which is like huge score. Yay. You know, not like pulling back, not worrying, not anything. But I'm super, super present to my feelings and to my choices and to the people around me. And it's just been really wild and cool. And one question that I had that I was wanting to do on Marco, but I wanted, for some reason, I just felt compelled to save it to now, is ever since we got into the third eye. So let me back up a minute. I used to have migraines. I've had migraines since I was 10. And to the point where I was actually missing work probably twice a month because of migraines. At the end, I found out that I have sensitivities to corn, got rid of corn in my diet, and have not had one migraine since. So, however, since we've hit the third eye and heading up, I have had these like halo headaches, mostly base of my skull, that kind of wrap around forward. So I wanted to share that and get some feedback on that at some point. So, thanks.
Thank you, love. I'll answer that now if that's okay. You know, it really happens a lot when it's like almost as if, because you're opening your third eye, the brain is expanding and it's like tingling and firing, so to speak. And it's almost as if the unconscious energy wants to take over, but then there's that other part of you that's like, no, open, it's okay, it's safe. So there's kind of a little of a battle going on there because, and we'll talk about that with our class today on consciousness, but basically we're expanding, and expansion sometimes hurts. Yeah.
That makes sense to how I'm feeling. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you. Who's next?
I can go.
Okay.
I'm doing pretty good. I feel like it's been, sorry, noises everywhere. I feel like it's been forever since I've shared, but so it's been like a big roller coaster, but I had some lows the last few weeks, but I've come out of that and I feel much better and refreshed. And I think what was really eye-opening to me about how I was feeling specifically about health and fitness, it just made me aware that that's how I like live my whole life. You know, the whole, it's not enough, I'm not good enough, nothing's working, I have to work harder, I have to, you know, nothing I do is enough. And so, yeah, it's been some big shifts in how I see myself and see how I want to be. I go to SSE seminars on Saturday for a week, which is the advanced course. It's really like hands-on physical, break up some crazy deep beliefs. So I'm like really excited for that, to check out for a week, not work, not worry about all my stupid responsibilities that I think are important, and just sort of be. So yeah, I'm really excited for May. I'm feeling better, feeling very overwhelmed because I take everything very seriously. So I'm like freaking out about traveling and what I have to do and plan, and just like, but I'm handling it, trying to keep grounding and stay present. And I am very excited for the next month and for SSM, and I mean, everything. I'm just really, really stoked.
Yay, I'm so glad you're aware of it. And again, we're going to talk about this in consciousness. Like, as you are aware of what has been dictating your whole life, everything changes. So lots of growth for you. I love it. Thank you. Adam, did you want to go next?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. First of all, good shares, everybody. Yeah, kind of like Astra said too, I was kind of a roller coaster. And I'm kind of seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. Candace, I think you helped me with a bigger issue, but my eyes have still kind of been an issue, like fluttering. And I think you talked to something about too with consciousness, like it's really a weird feeling, like something behind the eyes. But like a week ago, I was in a really different spot with my work and not wanting to progress and kind of shelter and hide with the success that I've been having with it. And this week has just been totally different, and a lot of good things have happened. And you know, these horses are really responding. Like ones that have been kind of pretty wild and crazy are now like, I don't know, they're calling me the magic man over there at the barn, which is kind of funny. But just I'm getting to a much better place about being able to kind of show myself in the horse industry again. So that's good. I'm actually maybe had a positive emotion or two, which is weird. But yeah, I still have this, I'm still kind of in the collective consciousness as far as, you know, this whole vaccine bullshit, in the fear it's projecting, but I'm trying not to let that get to me. So happy to be here.
Awesome, Adam. I'm really excited for you re-knowing yourself in a different way for the horse training that you're doing. And that's also, we're going to be talking about that today. We're letting go of old things and re-knowing ourselves anew with the things that we do love and like, right? Sometimes these things have bad stigma on it, so it really doesn't support us in moving forward because it's tied into old beliefs. Thanks for sharing. All righty, who's next? Anna.
Hello, everyone. I feel like it's been forever since I've been here and shared, and it was so good to see you, Candace, when I was in Hawaii. I've been doing pretty good. I feel like after I came back from Hawaii, I really decided to like just really work on my mental health. So I've been really trying to get into meditating a lot and just really sit with my thoughts and my feelings and just like work through them. And it's been helping. But at the same time, I feel like I have been getting very triggered a lot too. And a lot of things have been coming up. So I've been trying to work through that as well. But I'm feeling good. And I feel like going through, I feel like I'm going in the right path right now by like, just really focusing on like my mind and myself. So just want to continue doing that and just trying to continue to let go of like, a lot of fears and a lot of like, past cycles that I've been like, just trying to let go of. So yeah, I'm feeling good and just hope I could continue this progress. Yeah, it's good to see everyone.
You are progressing. You would have never said that before. Honestly, you would have never said, I'm working on my mental and self-care. So OMG, you're doing pretty darn well. Thank you. All righty. Courtney or Debbie, if you're available.
I'm available. Can everybody hear me? Okay, awesome. Because I'm on the train coming home. I've been seeing a lot of numbers, especially 9s and 3s. I have 3 interviews next week, 2 on Long Island and 1 in Delaware. 2 are virtual, 1's in person. I'm really trying to surrender and just breathe. It's been very hard, but that's what I've been really trying to focus on and be present. And I know where I belong and I know what I need to get rid of as far as working in the city and taking care of myself mentally. I love teaching. It's just, I'm over the city life. I'm over the hustle, the bustle. And I'm really starting to realize where I belong, what kind of environment I need to be in, and just really trying to be present with my daughter and just really trying to breathe as much as I can, even though things are very scary and overwhelming at the moment. That's where I am right now. Just really trying to breathe and surrender.
That is your word, surrender. And you're doing it. And I'm so proud of you because now everything is like starting to come to fruition. And it's like never a doubt, but then the fear sets in, right? So I'm really proud of you, Courtney. Yay. All righty, Debbie, are you available? No. Thank you so much for letting me know. Awesome. Okay. This is all, it's already, oops, I forgot to turn off. We're already in the zone of what I'm going to teach today because consciousness really is this big old thing, but also we can like really wrap our minds around it if we expand it, right? And here we are in that crown chakra and it's like the all-seeing, the all-knowing, but guess what? We often use our intellect as the all-knowing, right? And so this is the all-knowing, which literally is the lowest form of intelligence. Isn't that amazing? I was reading about that. The intellect is one of the lowest forms of intelligence. What's higher than the intellect is the body and the emotions, because it can sense things beyond what the mind can perceive, right? And so what's interesting is this consciousness energy is how we perceive things. So some people, you know, when they're all in woo-woo land, only see things from here, right? It's like all the fairies and all this beautiful things, but they're gonna like smash their toe into the garbage can, like chasing after a butterfly, right? Because they're not all here. But guess what? If we have all of these, chakras open and aligned, we are starting to perceive from each one of them simultaneously. How freaking amazing is that? Like all of those centers are open and like coursing. So you're feeling the ground beneath your feet, the safety there. You're understanding your emotions. They're there. They don't sway you. You just understand that they're there, right? Oh, I'm sad today, but I'm also a little bit happy. All right. So that's like, showing up. And then you're like standing tall in your power and you're feeling like, oh yeah, I can do this. I can make choices. I want to be my own person, right? But now you're infusing it with that heart chakra of love. And it's like, oh, everybody's here on this earth at the same time. We're all doing this journey. We're trying to live it together. Let's build relationships. And then we speak our truth and we share with others who we are and what we perceive and believe, and don't see it as competition, but we see it as a way to like gather and evolve, right? And then we're seeing with this sixth eye and allowing like the unknown to be known. And then the seventh locks it all in and helps us make sense and understand everything, right? That's the totality of consciousness. But how many of us live there? Not very much, right? Not at all. Why? Because we have unconscious energy, right? And also the conscious collective, right? So there's many multiple consciousnesses working all around us that are persuading us to perceive in the way that it wants us to perceive, right? But if we kind of stay in our own lane and honor each other's paths, these ideas can support us, right? It helps us to make sense of something that we might not have seen that perspective before. Like only when I talk to Nikayla do I see certain things about like the shadow self, right? Energy, right? Like I have my ideas of shadow self, but then when she studied it and she opens up my mind to it, boom, my consciousness is raised because I'm like really in the space of like seeing how it is working in my life. And that's the whole process of this all, is we're making the unconscious conscious, right? So that number one, fifth chakra, we're not lying to ourselves, right? We're being true to ourselves. And also with the third chakra, we're in the knowingness that we're choosing this shit, even if it's unconscious, right? How many of you realize you do something that you think is okay, you kind of like it, but it literally sabotages your life? Hello. Both hands up for me. I'm like, I've been doing that all weekend, and it's like, well, there's that again, but now I'm conscious of it, right? And now I'm like, okay, at least I'm doing it a little less. And the cool part of that is then as you make it conscious, you are literally going to learn this lesson until you figure it out, and then it's going to stop, right? So then once it stops and you're not even dealing with it anymore, you've surpassed that consciousness and you moved on to the next level. Okay. Are you following me along here? Okay. So how do we raise our consciousness? How is it that this conscious collective is like brewing over here, steeped in, the old ways of being, from power to, separation, to lower energy frequencies like despair and, anger and hate and all that? Like that's still there, but some of us are like plopping out. It's like a tadpole plopping out of that pond. Boop, boop, boop. And that's the spiritual awakening that's happening, because they're like, wait a minute, why do I have to believe in this? Like, this does not make any sense to me anymore. Like, we are consciously beyond that, but we still keep choosing this, right? We agree to it, which then begins to perpetuate it, right? The moment that we say, hey, no more slavery, guess what? All of a sudden, lots of people are like, well, I don't want to believe that anymore. And they all hop over to this other pond. And now we're playing here. And there's like few people are still trying to make that something that's real. And we're like, fuck that. We're over here now, right? And so it dissipates, and now it's no longer there. There might still be energies within the mind or consciousness held in the body, because if we've lived multiple lifetimes, we might have felt those energies and we remember, right? We remember to not forget, because that's not the way we want to be anymore. But some people remember to cast more shadows or to hurt people, right? So we're learning to just freaking jump the pond right now. But so many of us are still holding on to the old pond, right? So I want to go into a little bit of question and answer. And, I ask you to be honest with yourself. What are you still holding on to that you think serves you, but then every time you go that pathway, it literally brings you to danger, Will Robinson. So I'll share mine first because I just explored it. Okay, so I love to drink, and I'm on my Candida diet, and I'm like, no alcohol, but obviously I'm with my friends. We're in Orcas Island. I'm like, I want to drink. So old Candace can like suck them up like crazy, right? But Candace now, 3 months into a Candida diet, plus not really drinking a lot anymore, takes 3 shots of tequila and a margarita and drinks a bottle of wine because I'm just having a hoot of a time. Plus, smoking some plant medicine. And I was floored the next day. I was done, like DONE. And I was like, why do I do that to myself? And then the answer hit, because my consciousness is aware of myself. And it's like, well, hello, you work so hard and then you go into play so hard, but you don't know how to control the play sometimes, where if you just would have done this and this, you would have been like easy breezy, right? But I'm also protecting my identity, right? I'm also keeping myself from intimate connection and being completely real. And I just am so exhausted and tired, I blast myself out, right? And then I get the repercussions. I know this because this is what I've done my whole freaking life, right? So, and I believe I did that too, because it's the lesson for today. However, I see it, I'm conscious and aware of it, and I knew I was doing it, but I didn't know how sick I'd get, which was a mess anyway. But now I'm like, all right, I don't have to do that anymore. And nor do I really want to. Like, I know, like, my body was not happy whatsoever, especially because of how clean it was, right? So it was like a total body recognition of the body, like claiming itself and saying, no, not for you anymore. And it's like, but I want to, but it's like, no. So I'm taking this moment to integrate the consciousness of my body plus my mind and my spirit and coming to one, right? And that's been this whole journey and understanding that, right? So now I'm very hyper aware of how I roll when I've been not giving to myself a lot, right? So who wants to go first? Go ahead, Michelle. I'm going to give you guys 2 minutes each.
The first thing that came up for me was protection. And it's that everything from that mama bear, protecting my kids and wanting them to have a great life. And, it kind of tips into that control thing of, letting them know what they should be doing rather than letting them figure it out for themselves. Protecting myself and my heart, and then protecting who I think I am, at work. And that kind of plays in and looks like I have to prove myself, and that having to prove myself and having to be right is like this protection over me and everything that I've done and everything that I've accomplished and everything that I, am and can do. And so I think it all really roots down into this protection thing. And what happens is, what I'm recognizing that happens is that when I put up my protection guards, I miss out. I'm I miss out on experiencing my kids for who they are. I miss out on any kind of true love that someone wants to give me. I miss out on hearing, like, for instance, hearing my boss and how much she appreciates me and how highly she really does think of me because I'm so busy protecting myself. So there you go. Wow.
Michelle, beautiful. So beautiful. So the other part of consciousness is transcendence, right? So how can we transcend all of that? How can you transcend it? There's an opposite word for protection.
Trust.
Yes. And because, this is the egoic identity of a lower frequency that you've latched onto, which has helped you so, so much. But now you see where it's keeping you. So now you can't go further with this because it's keeping you from the trust and all the things you were saying, right?
Yeah.
So we transcend it with trust.
Yeah.
Awesome. Beautiful.
I'm seeing the fruits of it. It's like this though.
Oh yeah. And let me tell you.
Pry those fingers off. Pry them off.
Awesome. Okay, who's next?
I can go.
Awesome.
So mine is sleep. I will just go, and just not sleep and just run myself constantly. And I even did that when we were in Vegas, like just continually go. And so the last day we were there, we were getting ready to get on the plane, and I too was over consuming alcohol and enjoying life, and which again is not something I do on a normal basis, but I was told, wow, you look, you need to eat, and I don't eat a lot either. And so, but when we got to the airplane, I was like, I am done, like tapped out. And it was pretty turbulent on our way back. And so I did close my eyes because of fear of getting sick. But we landed in Portland and I was ready to rally again. Like the 2-hour flight gave me enough rest to get back up and go again. And that was it. Is like, I just don't stop. I just go. And I know my body needs rest. But I am by myself. I have to do everything. So if I stop, my world stops. That's why taking this vacation or doing this was a big step for me. I'm good. That's what it is. Sleep.
Awesome, Charmaine. And yet did you hear everybody? There was a hold of why you're keeping the no sleep. And this is the thing that Michelle was talking about, prying yourself off of that, right? It's like you think you need to do this because of that responsibility, but you don't. And that's the consciousness that you're operating under that doesn't let you have the freedom of what it really is. And I know you're still in the lesson of it, and that's okay.
Yeah. And I think this vacation was a huge thing for me, was like knowing that I needed that vacation. I needed that break. I needed that rest. That was like, I think that's that turning point. Even though I partied, quote unquote, partied for me, and did that and had that no rest, it still was, that was part of that lesson.
Drinking is a part of my party girl, but the under. Can you guys still hear me? No.
I can't now.
Okay.
Of us.
Sorry about that. So what I was saying is,
Her Wi-Fi don't want her to be great.
what? Oh, guys, hold on. Shoot. Oh, bummer. Hold on a second. I'm gonna try my, I'm gonna go into my hotspot real quick, okay?
Okay. You are back right now.
I am, okay.
Mhm.
Ah! Traveling, that's the only thing with travels is Wi-Fi. Why? I'm in the middle of Bellevue, like the capital of internet stuff. What the hell's happening? Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's say this again. So, Charmaine, in my own doing, right? Because I don't give myself rest. The way I give myself reprieve is to party hardy and then collapse, which now I have to rest, right? So my suggestion is how you think you're responsible and you have to go and do is not working for you anymore because it's not really giving you the results that you want. So it's an old consciousness that you're still trying to carry with you that you think is supporting you, but it's actually limiting you, okay? We'll leave it at that and we'll talk more about that later. All right, who's next?
Sure, I'll go. That was a great one. That's been showing up for me a lot too, and also a lot of people that I come into contact. That's a really big one. Is being still, and is an issue I have too. However, I would say more so for me, it's trying to fix everybody. The healer, I guess. You know, my family. It's been a year-long mission, as I've been healing too, but also trying to help my mother, my sister, my dad, diet-wise. You know, inspiration. They've seen my transformation, so I'm like helping them too. However, it's, as you know too, it's also been wearing me out. And what I've really learned lately is to realize everybody's having their own experience, and I can, you know, extend a hand or offer what works for me, but not to take on their own journey as my own. And that comes up for me everywhere. So needing to separate without trying to help too much, without giving too much of myself, because I can't anymore, you know. So that's a big one for me.
That's a huge one. I saw a lot of nods, like I do that too. We all do that. And there just comes a time where, you know, with all of these things, there comes a balance, but a re-knowing of yourself as a kind and nice person, right? It doesn't have to be all encompassing and stealing your joy and yourself and your stamina. It's knowing yourself when enough's enough, right? And being able to stop yourself, because that's then where the holding on to that idea of yourself who is helpful is keeping you stuck, right? Because you're always helpful. You don't even have to say anything and you're helpful, right? You're just overdoing it in a way that doesn't support other people because they don't think the way you think. Yeah. Awesome. All right, who's next? Astra.
Okay. I could think of a lot of things, but what came to me as the biggest thing and my biggest lesson lately is thinking that by not speaking up and not being honest with what works for me with everybody, it ends up coming and like biting me in the butt. So for example, my landlord, I moved in here and agreed to this crazy list of house rules that were unreasonable and ridiculous. And it's ended up totally catching up with me. With guys I meet, any romantic relationship, I've had 2-year-long relationships with people that I don't want to be with, or I don't agree with everything or anything, let alone like one date and not being able to be like, I don't like that. And I've had guys come back at me like telling me how bad of a person I am because I finally speak up even after a few dates or one date, and they're like, you're like, how dare you, and blah blah blah, we had this connection, and I'm like, no we didn't. And I just realized that I need to speak up more when it comes to anyone I work with, what works for me with my parents, what works with friends, like being taken advantage of and not feeling like I'm in my power, and then being resentful and then wondering why I feel like that. And people just coming at me as if I'm like a really bad person. And I'm like, what? How did you not know this? How is this such a surprise? And it's because I held it in and thought that putting them first, like I've always felt like putting other people first is going to make life easier, make them feel better, make everyone overall just better. So in the situations, but I'm realizing that, yeah, they all, that doesn't work at all for me and for the relationships with everybody.
Yeah, it doesn't work at all because it's like a master controlling, right? Where you think you're adding to the situation to help everyone, but they're not thinking the way that you do. And so then the miscommunication happens, and then it bites you in the butt, and you're like, but I didn't. Yeah, I do that too. It sucks. Like sometimes when I'm talking to Isaac, it's funny because I'll say something to him, and then the other parts of it I've kept in my mind, and I ask him later about it, and he's like, you didn't tell me that. And I'm like, but I did, but it was in my mind. So funny. And that's where the miscommunication occurs, because then I'm getting mad at him, and I thought I said it, but I didn't, because it's just inside of me. But beautiful, huge awareness. So time to speak. Say it all. Good. Okay, who's next? Go ahead, Anna.
I guess I could like really relate to what Astra said, because I was going to say for me it's people pleasing. That's a huge one for me. And I could I guess the same as like, I don't like say anything if like I feel like it goes against me. I'm more of like, I'll just like let things go. So that's that has bitten me in the butt too. And yeah, I just feel like with me being a people pleaser, I haven't really been able to be who I really am as a person. And so yeah, that's a huge one for me.
You're learning it. You're really discovering that piece big time. And it's awesome to see. Thank you for sharing, Anna. Okay, anybody else available?
I'll go.
Courtney.
With me, it's the control. It's the sense of control. It's the people pleasing. It's the need to keep going and not stop, because it's just me, like Charmaine. So it's like that need to keep going, to be perfect, to do it all, to not ask for help, to grow up a certain religion and then realize, wait, I don't believe in half this shit anymore, and want to actually convert to a different religion because fuck it, I don't believe in half the shit anymore because I got slapped in the face, not literally, last week, because I don't have a godfather, and it made me feel really alone. It's like, great. So it's so that's where I'm at.
Oh, baby, good stuff. Dismantling all these things, right? So much dismantling. I'm going to talk about that too. I'm going to put a benchmark in that because that one's a good one. Debbie or Bria?
I'll go.
I think
Oh, go ahead, Bria.
And then Deborah, you're next.
Uh,
Sorry, honey.
I was just gonna say I agree with a lot of people, like everyone, so far, especially the sleeping, because the last couple of days I've just been like stressing myself out, and all I want to do is just sleep to avoid the stress that I put on myself. But yeah, definitely agreeing with the sleeping part.
Yeah, sleep can often be a place where you can avoid too, because it then justifies like, well, if I can just sleep, then all those problems will go away. So we have to be very mindful of that energy there, right? Especially with third chakras, they will do that often. Is I don't want to do anything, so I'm going to bed. I'm just gonna take a nap. But yeah, Adam's like, yeah, that's me. That's my husband too. He's like, fuck this shit, I'm going to bed. And then wake up renewed. But yeah, thanks Bria for mentioning that. So instead of, you know, going crazy like we all do, or do and go, and instead of like crashing and sleeping, we got to find that middle ground that's really going to serve you both. Okay, so serve both those pieces. All right, Deborah.
Okay, I'm a little distracted because I have my granddaughter here. And as you started talking about voicing, she just has not stopped. And so she's finding her voice. So I'm just laughing at her. That's been one of the biggest things for me. The other one is hoping somebody will change that I know that isn't, and letting go. The other one is realizing it's okay to be powerful and step into that, and don't give a fly-in flip what anybody else thinks, because whatever comes back on you is really them. So.
Oh, you said some big ones, right? How many of us have like wanted to control somebody else because they need to be a particular way to be like us, right? Or to not have that power. Yeah. So it sounds like you're making giant strides in all of those.
Last night was a huge giant stride because I bought the car by myself and he doesn't even know. So,
oh baby.
Yeah.
Good job. Awesome. Thank you for sharing. And Debbie, are you available?
Yes, I can share. So the amazing thing is I see so clearly what the biggest thing is that keeping me from moving forward. And I don't know. Anyway, unbelievable. So my thing is that I have attached this idea, this image of myself, that my self-worth is based in being cared for, meaning that I don't have to do anything. I don't have to try. I should be loved just being. And because of that, I'm not trying. I'm not helping myself. And this causes me to be totally stagnant and huge issues in my life. And every day, you guys, every day I get up and I think about this and I go to bed and it's the same. And I realize, that idea is attached to a reception from people that's external to myself, and I should, all those need, should things, be self-sufficient. And can I just get an injection or something like a vaccine? So, because this has been a long time, as Candace knows.
Oh, Debbie, so perfect and beautiful, especially because, you're dealing with that third chakra, right? And that's what the third chakra wound has done for so long, is just kind of sit back and just let everything happen and be taken care of. But it also doesn't allow you to grow confidently in who you are. You might feel amazing because you're just taken care of, but then your sense of self to put creation out in the world is so hard to do, right? So that's a huge, huge realization. Thank you for sharing that. Awesome. So we are going through so many changes, and I love how you're just really seeing these parts of you, and just notice, right? This is the conscious awareness. Are you justifying it, right? Are you kind of telling a fib around it sometimes so that it makes it okay? That's where we want our consciousness, because that's where we can see it's holding us back, right? Because it's not the truth of who we are, and we're not expanding to all of who we can be, because we're still identifying with that way of being. And if you remember, in the beginning of school year, we talked about David R. Hawkins' Power versus Force, and he talks about the energy levels of consciousness and how we can raise our vibration at times and also be lowered depending on who we're thinking about, what circumstance we're in. It is always constantly changing, because these parts of us, these shadow selves, are hidden in the unconscious. And guess what? It's not going to be conscious until it's brought to the surface. So this is a trippy part, is say you're feeling really good about yourself and things are like working out, magic is happening, you're like, woohoo. And then you're like chilling, and all of a sudden this unconscious piece rises to the surface. You get triggered and you're like, what the hell? Where did that come from? Right? Because I know all this stuff, I practice all this stuff, and now I'm getting triggered up the wazoo and I can't calm myself down, right? What that is that shadow piece, you know, these consciousnesses that are in your past that rise up and is like, who's there? What's going on? What's happening? I just remember myself being, you know, in the ditch, you know, passed out drunk. What's up? Right? It's like, oh, well, hello. I'm here. I'm your higher self coming back to you. Like, let me tell you what's been going on. We learned this, we learned this, we learned this, we learned this. And then this part's like stunned. And it's like, what? Really? We don't do this anymore? Like, are you sure? Let's try it again. Right? And so it happens to instigate things in your life, but you're like, no, we're good now. We don't choose those things. So you're like literally parenting this piece until it goes, oh, okay, I feel safe. And then it integrates into the vast collective consciousness of your own self. Okay, so we're literally coaching these parts of ourselves to come into consciousness, because it wakes up and is like, what? So yeah, because the shadow self has been so attuned to how things used to be, which created shadows in your life, kept you from the light, kept you from where you wanted to be. And these shadows, when they are running rampant, they then take over, right? Because now they're mischievous and they do all these things, but they're also very good, right? There's just a piece that makes them push it to the edge, right? So when we push it to the edge, we're no longer conscious anymore, because we're not making the choices. Unless you choose to act unconsciously, you can do that. Like, consciousness is such a difficult thing, because you can be conscious of doing something bad and you still do it, right? I was totally conscious of how many drinks I was taking and I still did it. And then I was like, oh shit, here comes the ride, right? Here we go. But then you then take a look at what it's creating and what it's causing in your life that actually is not supporting you, right? That's the whole piece around consciousness. Is with David R. Hawkins, there's the low frequencies, right? Where our minds are just filtered with what we've seen, what we've experienced, from the fear to the pride to the guilt, the anger, shame. Like, shame has come up multiple times with me here. And it just buries me deep under shame, that everything I see is shame, and I start questioning myself, right? But guess what? When you're questioning yourself, is a good thing, because that's where consciousness is trying to like filtrate that unconscious to help you go, no, you're not there's no shame in you. These are just the old things that are coming up to be integrated and healed, right? So, and that's what's daily consciously happening to us over and over again as we do all this work. That's why it's freaking tough and hard sometimes to do it, because there's so many pieces of us that have been built around consciousness, the lower consciousness that's needing to raise to a higher consciousness, right? But it's not to judge ourselves and beat ourselves up for that. It's to go transcend it and literally skip to the next pond, right? Like, that's not who I wish to be anymore. How else will I be? Like, I think about, it's funny, like this whole energy of where it's a movie, I watched it, 10,000 Ways to Die in the West. Has anyone watched that? It's like in those times, all they knew was death and dying, because it's like you can get shot by a smuggler, you can die from some kind of disease. It's like there's so many ways to die in the West because that's what they knew at that time. And so now here we are, and we have so much medical things, we have drugs, we have prescriptions, we have many herbs and things that we all know about to like heal ourselves. So those things won't necessarily happen because we can read about it on the internet and start helping ourselves. But before, it's like they couldn't perceive like all the things that we have now, right? From penicillin, like really all you have to do is that. Like I was watching Outlander, and penicillin was like, she created penicillin in one of the episodes, and people were like calling her a witch and like disgracing her and the family, going after her, right? But now it's like a hello, it helps. So our consciousness, it's like we're holding on to ideas, especially in the here and now of this world. Like we think this is the way it is, and we agree to it, right? We agree, and this might piss you off, but it's true, right? We agree to war right now, right? We all do. Safety reasons, border reasons, power reasons, whatever. But it continues to happen because we still are giving that energy. Does that make sense? But if you were in a peaceful consciousness, you wouldn't see that as even an option, right? It's like, no, that's not where we want to go. We love each other. We're all raised in consciousness enough that we see each other as having traumatic experiences, from someone in the Saudi Arabia to like somewhere in the Caribbean. We all have these things and differences. So that's why I like nonviolent communication, because he's traveled around the world to like talk about things like, why are you so angry? What do you really need? And he's actually helping bring peace, because they're finally being able to talk and connect and understand why they feel the way they do, right? But not many people put that out there because it's not exciting news, right? But it is. It's like so amazing that there's a different way that's happening. And that's what's happening with where we are right now with the great shift, right? So many people are thinking differently, speaking differently, knowing things differently, doing things differently than ever before. And it's like being made known, so that now it's like, what frequency are you going to tune into? Right? That's why, Adam, when you listen to that, you are agreeing with it, whether you realize it or not, because you're feeding into it, right? It's not a bad thing. It's just what's causing you pain is actually something you're consciously or unconsciously doing. Does that make sense? So we've got to literally tune the frequency to something more, which actually gives us more solutions, more possibilities, more creativity than we've ever seen. But those things have been scrutinized before because it didn't belong in what is considered agreeable at this moment, right? But more things are becoming more agreeable now. So that means the consciousness is raising. So we're going to be going into a place where we're going to increase our vibration. Okay. And it's super simple and easy, but we don't manage our energy, right? We let the energy fall and go into the emotions and go into the thoughts, because it becomes that. But that's a consciousness that you're choosing into. That's the lower frequencies that I was saying. And it's not the whole spiritual bypassing to get into a higher frequency, nor is it like pretending you're okay. It's knowing that you simultaneously exist from here to these lower levels. And there's parts of you that are choosing these things as a lesson, but this part of you is constantly in observation and watching you and supporting you at all times, kind of like the higher self energy we've talked about, right? It's just, what are you going to tune into? What do you want to see and feel and experience? Because it's there always. It really is. But you can go like this if you want to. I'm going to give you an example. My husband was feeling really crappy on our anniversary day. And I was super excited and happy, but he had got hit hard by a bus, by like his own emotions. And he was attempting to chat with me about that. But I had my notion of, I'm just going to enjoy my anniversary, whether you like it or not. But that didn't help, because then he shut down and I couldn't reach him, right? But he chose to shut down and I chose to drag him to the restaurant. But what happened in his shitty mood, like everything he's ever wanted started showing up to him. And he like woke up to it and was basically like, oh, wow, in my misalignment, I can be aligned. And I was like, yeah, but you basically choose your attitude during it. It's up to you, right? So, you know, he started to give way to the experience, which, you know, these two things happened and it was like magical. It was exactly what he wanted. And then I began to shut down because my consciousness was like all like beat up from the experience. And I held onto the grudge until the very end of the night, right? And it sucks because we're missing pages, but you know, parts of me are like, get out of it, Candace, you can do it. I'm like, I won't let go, no. And then he's like, I have to express my truth. And then he's like, but wow, this is amazing. Things are happening. How can I be simultaneously in both of these consciousnesses, right? It's tough, but if we can recognize what's happening, we hold space for it on the top level so that then we rise to meet up with it. Does that make sense? So it's like acknowledging that, yeah, you're in your shit right now, you're shut down, but it's there for a reason. You can be with it, but also simultaneously love yourself through it, right? So that you can transcend it. The problem is when you give into it and think it's your identity and who you are. So we then become it, but we don't want to become it. We want to shift it. We want to transcend it. Okay, let's see. So when it comes up, we should ask what you just did as we were sharing. What is the other side of that, or where do we want to be instead of fighting it or judging it? Yes, the other side of it is there because now you gave yourself a pathway, right? But at the same time, like not to expect yourself to get there right away, right? Because that's also very punishing. So it's like, how come I'm not there already? What's wrong with me? I'm so stupid, right? I should have chose this or chose that. I'm so horrible. And now you go way down into like the shame spiral and you beat yourself up. But it's like, oh, okay, so I needed to learn this lesson again. Here I go. And laugh about it, right? Okay, I was reading this awesome book by Deepak Chopra, and it was a book called Why Is God Laughing, right? And this guy was literally going from, you know, things that were just hitting him hard, one after the other, after the other, after the other. And he's like, what the fuck, right? And supposedly God is next to him and he's just laughing because literally, you know, the small mind doesn't see the God mind of what's all happening, right? So you know, you can be in your shit and realize things are falling apart, but God's like, yeah, I've been trying to tell you that for a long time and it's time to evolve your consciousness. So here you finally go. You have to like blow it all up before you get here, right? And so it's like, oh, can we just be gentle on ourselves and laugh at how silly we are? Because we've learned so much about things we shouldn't do, but do it anyway, and or ways other people believe or how the conscious collective is acting, we behave the same, right? It's how we think we can belong and think we can be a part of something. But at the same time, you know, when we take our own unique individual selves and expand our consciousness as to who we really are, like boom, you see the God within, right? You see how you can be the Christ consciousness around you and spread that kind of love and connection and attention. And you can use those shadowy parts to instigate a little, you know, I like to say how I instigate a little trigger because that person needs it because they think, you know, they're so solid in that identity. So I'll screw it up a little bit over here so that then they start questioning things, right? It's really fun. But that's how we learn. It's like someone's got to shake things up in your life, right? Otherwise, if someone keeps agreeing with you and says, yeah, I mean, that's all fun and dandy, but at the same time, it doesn't help you grow. And that's why we have these wonderful relationships to constantly remind us of who we want to be, right? From our relationship here in the course to our partners and our children, because they're here to like help us evolve into a higher energy of who we are. So the cool thing is, yeah, well, God has shaken me to the end. Yeah. Especially when we're so stuck in an idea. And I love that you mentioned that because that's the whole idea of free will, right? Like this is such a conundrum is, yes, we have free will, but our higher self has agreements that we have agreed to wake us up. So even if our identities and small self want to hold on to a particular way of being, you're still going to go through it, whether you like it or not, right? Because it's part of your agreement to be who you are. So you're either going to go smooth sailing, like, oh, I see what's happening here. It's telling me to this and this and this. And of course I'm doing it this way because it's the hard way and I'm okay. Like I've been okay with the hard way, right? But there's another way. There's always another way. And I think I mentioned this to you last time. Like I was meditating and the words that came through was there's always another way. And so many people have this black and white way that it's either this way or this way, right? But they don't stop long enough to go, what's the in-between ways? What can I do here? And that's why we're like really helping you open up these chakras through this course. So you have access to all the ways, right? So many beautiful ways because there's so many. Like I can be in my power and be in my softness and be grounded and open to everything around me. I mean, that's what I think like travel is all about. It's like you don't have literally a structure and you're really like all senses are firing so you can navigate the vacation or the world that you're exploring. And then it's crazy because then you meet the people you're supposed to meet along the way. I mean, I remember going to Paris and my friend Brooke was in the same neighborhood on the same day I was traveling. And she's like, let's meet up, right? You know, and she lives like in Colorado. So it's amazing how you attract that, but you got to remember who and what you are, because your consciousness is not just what we're talking about. It's connected to the all. Like you are divine. You're so divine that it's crazy. You're so powerful that it's crazy. Like you emit an energy that most people can see across, you know, the world because you're so bright, right? They feel you, but we keep ourselves trapped in our own little bodies thinking that this is all that I am. You are not just this. You're so much more, right? And for those of you going to the Raise Your Vibration Sacred Awakening Retreat, we're going to be showing you how magical you are, right? The things that we can do that we didn't think we can do. Because when you raise your vibrations, you can call things to you. You can make shit happen. You can make things appear, right? And that's that law of attraction and manifestation. But, you know, when your consciousness is split, you're manifesting multiple different things, which is why things aren't necessarily working out for you in the way that you would like, because you're holding on to so many things that are sabotaging you. But they're all there for a reason. Awesome. So does anyone have questions? I'm just going to look over my notes to make sure I got everything.
Yeah, I have a question. And this kind of pertains to all that too. And my, I get confused as far as like my role as a light worker and stuff like that too. Like with the collective consciousness that is going on, with the fear and the control, and, you know, I'm not saying the vaccine word, but what is going on, like I want to wake people up. Like you are being controlled. Like we are being, you know, this is actually what's going on. And, you know, so I really struggle with wanting to speak my truth and tell people that, you know, what's going on. And I just struggle with losing my frequency from doing that. Right.
Beautiful, Adam. It's a tough road because in that, if you can feel into it, it's thinking that someone else is wrong, right? And that then creates friction because you think you're right when both parties are actually right based on the consciousness level that they're existing at, right? And so it's not to go back there and try to make them, it's just go out there and inspire them, right? Because that the anger, the hurt, the pain is tied to the lower frequency. Does that make sense? Whereas if you were to let go of, wake up everybody, like, wow, look at where I am, this is what's going on over here, and like showing them that, they literally start to jump over. Like that's why sharing is important, because it paves pathways. However, when you get angry and upset about it, you're already giving into that same power hungry control issue, right? It's not a bad thing to be passionate about something. It's just now you're just attempting to control the way things look when everything is actually perfect, right? And I want to add to that too, because if we look at where we've come from historically, like this really is a powerful time, right? There is such energy that's still grasping and clinging to the old, but there's now more than ever a raising of the new. But not everybody's going to see that because they themselves have not awakened yet. So they're going to believe here, and it's not to like, hey, wake up. It's more of to, hey, and inspire. Because they'll hear the truth. That's like someone who has a high level of education speaking to someone who's street smart, thinking each other isn't as smart as the other, but they are smart in different ways on their own level. Exactly, right? And I mean, I remember when I was blind to things too, right? Especially in my relationships. It's like, I thought I knew what I wanted, and whoa, I was way far from it. But when I, you know, listened to people and began to let go of my idea of a relationship was when new information could come in, right? And that's the beautiful thing is the whole aspect of I don't know what to do or where to go, because that means you have surrendered the ego so that then the higher self can take the lead. And this is like being plugged into Matrix, right? Yeah, you're totally plugged in because you're feeding that energy where you can go, I'm over here and I'm doing what I know how to do in my life, which actually already creates the pathway. Awesome. Any other question? Okay, so this is really beautiful because this is where we're going to see like and understand the differences, right? This is like seventh chakra. I mean, literally God consciousness, Christ consciousness, all this love, like sees no harm. Like everyone is beautiful. They're just lost in their idea of themselves, right? And we're all evolving that. And, you know, I'm reading the Paul Selig series of Word, I Am Word, the Truth, the Book of Truth, Book of Love and Connection, Alchemy, all of that is like blowing my brains open, by the way. But the cool thing about it is I'm raising my consciousness with it and I'm seeing things differently. And one of the things he had talked about was literally like how we put ideas on people based on their behaviors, right? Their behaviors are bad, yes, but the people themselves aren't bad. They have just lost their way because they've been maybe inundated with abuse, with harm, with hurts, you know, and it drives people to that dark place. And yet we judge them for that. And when we see from this higher level, this higher consciousness, we love them for it because they were doing the best that they could and with what they had, each one of us. And as we evolve, we're all learning new things. It's just a choice to want to learn. Some people have given up on their lives, right? But guess what? They're going to learn it in another lifetime because it's just how the world works. It just is. So we're all here right now and we can clear so much karma right now. You know, like truly, you can either go into the zone of everything's happening to me or everything is happening for me to evolve to greater heights. And so when you have that energy about you where you're just like, oh my God, everything is happening for me, you begin to like just look at what your soul is creating for you and help yourself to dismantle those things and raise up, because this no longer works. It doesn't help us anymore. And when you're changing, it's going to like freaking shake you and it's going to be uncomfortable and it's going to suck because you're so attached to it. You can't let it go. You're prying your fingers open. But if you can just go, whoa, baby, I've been playing in this mess. I'm going to just hop on over to this other pond where things are a little bit easier, right? So it's all about believing it, being it, acting upon it. It's like literally all of the chakras, all being the things that they're meant to be. And you're like right there and you can see it. I mean, I know some of you have experienced this where like the insight comes and you're like, oh my God, my whole past is so clear now. I know why I did X, Y, Z, E, F, D, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. Right? I think I've been getting a lot of those this year, like beyond I've ever gotten them. They're like, boom, boom, sexuality, shame, fear, consideration. Oh my God. So now my brain is starting to go rock and it is very foggy sometimes, but that's the shifting of energy. Does that make sense? Cool. Well, that's literally all I have in consciousness because right now, you know, oh, actually I don't. I have a little bit more. Forgot this one thing. So what's cool is consciousness can come from the rational, like what we're doing, like investigating our life and the world around us, but it also can go into the mythical and mystical, right? So imagine like the things we don't see that exist, right? And that's kind of what we were wanting to start sparking up in your sixth chakra is this opening of seeing things in symbols, right? So like looking around your life and things are happening for a reason. Like Courtney was saying, she's getting the 999s, the 333s. Nines are completion. 3 is like this wisdom energy. and you start seeing these things, and you're like, they're not a rational thought anymore. They're more of a raised frequency that's guiding you. And when you pay attention to it, it like adds an element like a dream, like of what is coming through in your life. And it's a beautiful thing when you can feel into it, right? It's like, oh my God, of course this is happening right now at this time. And then the last one is evolutionary consciousness. Because when you begin to see the signs, you begin to see the rationale around it, then you can evolve past it. And that's like what I was saying we're doing. We're trying to transcend these ideas of ourselves and who we think we are. Because some people are like literally levitating and flying. Some people are bending spoons. You know, some people are doing some amazing things that are not really shared because it's still unacceptable in some places, right? But it's still happening regardless of our thoughts or not. These things exist. And probably we're going to be able to do some more things like telepathy, right? A lot of that's happening already. There's so much, but I even told Nikayla, I was like, I think we're not going to have telepathy until we have like total energetic boundaries, right? Because it's not a good thing to tap into everybody's thoughts and emotions. We have to respect that, right? So we're far from it only because we're still learning about our energy and our boundaries around it, right? So just like up and coming, there's some beautiful things happening that will come to fruition, from aliens to things living among us. You know, it's just we're not ready we're not at that consciousness level yet, some of us, that can really accept those things, which is why they hide themselves from us, right? Because like, just look at all the movies that are created about those things. There's just war and power and, you know, fear. Like, that's a lower frequency, right? Whereas these beings are wanting to connect, but it's like we're not in our right minds yet to accept that until everyone's ready. So, I mean, there's beings visiting people because they're safe there, right? There's people channeling those beings because it's safe there and they're willing to take a chance and share the message, right? So there's so much happening. So it's like amazing in what's possible. Jodie Foster movie just came to mind where she was open to it. Can't remember the name of the movie. I think I know what you're talking about. Is it the Alien Connection one where she was tapping into the, yeah, I forget what it's called too, but yeah, I mean, it's like, can we just open our eyes to curiosity and wonder, right? I'll share with you another thing. One of the upperclassmen had this picture, and her friend literally was able to take a picture of this fairy. I shit you not, it was crazy. And she showed it to us, and her dogs were like looking at it. It was glowing bright yellow, and it was not superimposed. It was literally there. And I was like, it gave me the chills. It was so real, right? So see, they're revealing themselves to people who can really appreciate it, right? That's why I love being in the woods and in nature, because there's so much there if we allow it, right? So expand that consciousness to not be afraid, right? Just to be in curiosity and wonder, but also be grounded to protect yourself from all the unwanted energies, right? Because when you're grounded, they can't ransack your energy. And we'll be teaching a lot about that in second year, is learning how to protect yourself and learning how to open so you can like interact and be with all the amazing things that are out there. Yeah, so beautiful. So cool. Avatar is definitely a good one. She built the transporter. Oh yeah. Contact. Yes. Okay. Anyhow, any other questions? Everyone got it? Let's expand that mind of ours to like incorporate everything and start like acting upon it. Like you are the change. Yeah. Okay, loves. I will see you guys next week. Have a good one.
Bye.
Hey.
Bye, guys.
You. Bye.